How long did that show last, this big show? I never heard of it.
That was, Ziff Davis did that for one season only, and it was kind of a flop. And then this is something that company did a lot, which might be why they're Chapter 11 right now. They kept me on. They canceled the shows, but they didn't fire me. They kept paying me a lot of money for really, you know, just hanging out.
Sweet gig.
At the time, I was writing a lot of TV treatments. I think they wanted to get back into TV, but they weren't committed to it. So I was like their TV guy. And Gina and I both did this. And we would go down to Hollywood and talk to executives. We spent a lot of time with Fox. And I remember, you know, MGM was very interested. In fact, for a long time, we were in a development deal with MGM to do a network. So ZD really wanted to do a network. And then I just was hanging around, and all of a sudden I got a call. This was in December of '95, 1 year later. And they said, NBC is teaming up with Microsoft. They're going to start a new cable channel called MSNBC, and they're interested in us producing a technology show for them. So work up a treatment. And that's what I was doing. That's all I was doing. So I took all of my ideas that I'd come up with in the past, and I worked up a treatment. We ended up writing, with the help of Richard Fisher and some other people, a 90-page treatment, which we then went in January of '96 to pitch to NBC. And I remember riding up in the elevator, 30 Rock, and going to the big executive conference room, and in comes the news director of NBC, Andy Lack, and he comes in. He's wearing a three-piece suit and cowboy boots, and he puts his big cowboy boots up on the table and says, all right, let's see what you got. And I led off, and we had about 4 people did the presentation. It was me and the CEO of Ziff Davis, Eric Capot, the TV consultant we brought in, Richard Fisher, and we just kind of tag-teamed through it. And I started off with the big vision thing. You know, computers are going to change the world. There's a revolution happening. And at the end of it, Andy Lack's sitting there. He says, he's talking to his minions, why don't you guys ever do anything this good? I like it. So they bought it.
So what was your role on that show? Were you like the host? Were you like, you know, the funny guy? Were you the big tech guy? I mean, what'd you do?
Part of my deal as the creator of the show, I thought I would. I knew NBC had Soledad O'Brien. They really wanted her to anchor, and because they were developing her, and this was going to be her kind of break-in show. And so I didn't expect to be the anchor. I kind of had hoped, but I didn't expect it. And then ZD said, well, you could be the weekend anchor and the chief correspondent of the show. I said, oh, that sounds good. I'll do that. But when it all came down to it, NBC really hated me on the air. And they decided the best thing for me to do was to put on a motion capture suit, and they turned me into a cartoon character so that you wouldn't see me, right? And so for a year and a half, that's what I did on that show, mostly. I did a little bit of other stuff. Mostly on that show, I was Dev Null, which was a virtual reality character.
Dev Null? What's that?
It's a Unix term for the bit bucket, for the null device. That's what it's short for, device null. And it's where, if you want to delete something in Unix, you send it to dev null. Or if you want to ignore it, you send it to dev null. It was a clever, kind of a clever name that was come up by, the guy who thought it was a guy named Matt Hahn, whose brother Andrew works here. I liked it a lot, although everybody else hated it, but it was too late. We'd already branded him Dev Null, so we were stuck with it. And Dev's biggest success, he actually, you know, I won an Emmy for it, a local Emmy, and it was actually, I think, one of the best things on the site. It was the one spontaneous, unscripted thing on the site. The site was very rigidly controlled. Networks like it that way, and you can't script me, so you can try, but so I was just off the cuff and wacky and wild. It was the thing that was the most live on the show, and I think Soledad really liked it. She had fun with it, so I think it was actually one of the best things on that show.
Yeah, sounds like a hoot. Sounds like a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was also not fun because, first of all, I wasn't on camera really. I got to be this interesting character, but it wasn't me. And the suit is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, this is me. This isn't a suit. You know, I can't get out of this at all. You know, it's summer, winter. You know, I'm in the tropics. I'm sweating. I've never been to the tropics, but I hear it's hot. You know, I'd be sweating the whole time. But you know, this thing, I can't get out of this. You know, this is me. So that must have been rough.
And you'd have to wear it. I mean, we did it every day. You'd have to wear it for long periods of time.
So did you Did you look good? Did you look like me? Huh? You know, why did you look?
Yeah, it looked decent. I mean, it looked as good as. Understand that you can make computer animation very realistic if you have all the time in the world. If you're, doing Toy Story and you can spend hours for each second of film, you can make it look very good. But this wasn't that way. This was in real time. This was done live. So when I move my body, the character has to move instantly because I'm talking to a live person.
So you're a big TV star. You got tons of friends. When you tell your friends up there in the farm what you do for a living, do they get it? Do they have any idea what you're talking about at all?
My friends who've known me for years don't get it at all. I mean, some of them still think I'm in radio because they don't get TechTV. And it's actually really good for my family and for me, frankly, because I'm treated like dirt by everybody I know. They don't, I play poker with these guys every month, and I tell them, oh yeah, I have to go to Baltimore to do a personal appearance. They say, what? Do what? I said, well, I'm going to go and give people some autographs. They say, people want your autograph? I say, well, yeah, some people want my autograph. They say, why? They don't understand it because they have no idea, which is great. It keeps me from having any sense of self-importance at all.
So is it like completely shocking for you when you go out to like Baltimore like you just did? You go out there and you meet these real fans and they're kissing you and they want you to sign their ankles and you sign your books and then people like thousands of people waiting in line for you. Is this crazy?
It's nice, and I'm actually very grateful that it's not like that in the Bay Area because I mean we go places. We go to the last place we did 1,000 people show up. That's really amazing. Or we do these auctions where we sell Morgan's mousepad for $730. It's like, whoa. I mean, that's more money than, established Hollywood stars get. And, people, it's a really interesting thing because the people who know the screensavers, and it's about 1 person in 100, love it. And everywhere I go, I will always meet one person who's like, oh my God, I love the screensavers. And the rest of the population is completely oblivious. You do what? I never heard of it, no. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I think most people, including all my friends, think I'm on public access. They think it's community access. They think, we're renting time on, Channel 34, and that's what we're doing. That's fun. I don't mind that at all. In fact, I like having an audience that's, the in crowd and just them. It's kind of fun to be, kind of a secret thing.
That's pretty cool. You kind of you got the best of both worlds. You got the famous world and you got that, that farm.
But I still get the thing. Yeah, I still can go to St. Louis and have people go crazy and ask me to sign their breasts. And that's great, too. Have a little bit of both. I took Abby on an autograph. Both Abby and Henry have now been on appearances with me, my kids, because I'm desperately trying to get them to respect me and think I'm, worthy. And it's really funny because they both, people ask them for their autographs. So I think they're the only kids that, that aren't movie stars that have signed autographs. And I don't really know what they think. I brought home, the book in Borders, the book is being sold with a calendar. So I brought home these calendars of, me every month, a picture of me, not in a bathing suit, just, me in costumes. It's kind of strange. It's a weird thing. And the reaction of my friends is really varied. Most of them are just baffled. They say, why are you on a calendar? Who would want this? I don't. And my kids, Abby thinks it's good. I mean, and I said, Abby, this is great. I mean, how many kids get to have their calendar with their dad on it? And she likes that. But they have no sense of being, in any way out of the ordinary. We're very ordinary. That's why it's good to have goats and sheep, too. I mean, I have to shovel manure.
Yeah, it keeps the ego down. It keeps the head small,
Well, we got to do the best we can because otherwise I'd be completely out of control, to be honest with you.
And that's it. We're out of time, We're pretty much out of tape. My cameraman, he's drunk. He's falling asleep, so we're done. But thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tim. You're very generous. I appreciate your time. Towel you. Jeez.